Welcome to Everyday Ethics. I'm your host, Michael Liebowitz, and I am ready to talk about holiday ethics or any topics that you wish to bring that, of course, are relevant. Hey, everyone from Daniel Suska, who blew me off today. We were supposed to have coffee, but he said, screw me. So I guess it's screw me. Remember, we've got super chats, super stickers are open, and they're very much appreciated. So Daniel blew me off because he had family things to do. So around the holiday times, what do we owe family? What do we owe our friends? How should we be conducting ourselves and around these times? Does it differ from any other time? Or, for instance, like I've decided this year that I am not giving out any Christmas presents. I can't afford it, and so I'm not going to do it. Do I owe? Yes, I got your text, Danny. Do I owe people Christmas presents around this time of year? And, I didn't go around and tell everybody on the planet that I won't be buying them a Christmas present this year. So what if people buy me gifts? Do I not accept them? Should I turn them back? Should I say, listen, I'm sorry I didn't tell you? What is the obligation around this stuff? I mean, look, maybe, Danny, maybe tomorrow we can meet local to you, but tomorrow's Christmas Eve, so maybe not. And this gets back to the, what do we owe one another? What do we owe friends, family? But so this Christmas present thing, I'm not a religious person by any stretch of the imagination. Of course, I'm an atheist. I do enjoy the holiday season. I like festivities, the Christmas trees, the snow, and all of that stuff. I love every bit of it. I don't need gifts from people. So what do I do here? Should I have told everybody I won't be giving gifts out? And if it's just, we're like the term exchanging gifts, then it's not really about giving at that point. It's just exchanging. And what is the morality of giving anyway? Why do we owe to give? I don't know. There's a lot of good questions that pop into my head around this time of the year. So let's take Daniel. Daniel, there's family obligations for him. So he told me no today. He didn't blow me off. I was kidding about that. He just told me he couldn't do it because he has family obligations at this time of the year. And I understand that. But are these expectations in your mind duties? Do you have a duty to spend the time with your family around these times, with your brothers, your sisters, whomever? And I would argue, no, absolutely not. You may choose to, especially in the case of, your wife, your children, your husband, that, of course, if you are choosing to spend time with them and to celebrate, your life together, whatever, around this time of year, I think that's great. But if you are just associating with people out of a sense of duty, or if you are giving presents to people because of a sense of a moral obligation that comes from, wherever, then that I disagree with. If you preferred coffee with me, Danny, we'd be getting coffee today at 3:30. We're not. So clearly it's called revealed preference. You're revealing what you prefer. And I got to tell you, I'm surprised. Well, not surprised, but our viewership is kind of down today. We need some more people in the audience. We need some more comments. Not now. We need people talking. We need people disagreeing, maybe asking questions. Let me see if I can't just share this real quickly. Repost, copy. So I don't think that there's any added ethical obligations or duties around the time of the holidays. I think it's the same as any other time. We need to decide what we should do based on what is in our best interest to do. That's the way that I think. That's the way that I conceptualize these things. Mark is going to love it. Mark has his notification silenced, but I put notify him anyway. So we'll see. Maybe he loves it. Maybe he's aggravated. Either way, I got the message across. Why is Danny the only one commenting? What is happening? Did I not share this link today? I'm pretty sure that I did. But yet Danny's, oh, look at this. Danny gives me 99 cents for a super sticker. That's awesome. And Catherine's here as well to say hi, Mike. And Mr. Deagle says, I think that Rand wasn't accepting gifts at all. Mr. Deagle, whether or not Rand accepted gifts doesn't really interest me, to be honest. I mean, I'm happy you shared it. Don't get me wrong. Please share away. I want your thoughts on it, but I'm more concerned about the reality. What is the logical conclusion of this thing? Do I owe gifts? Do I not owe gifts? That sort of thing. But I think it always boils down to the choice, and that choice ought to be dictated by what is best for me in my life and my well-being. And by the way, I don't want people associating with me unless they think it's in their best interest to associate with me. I don't want people hanging out with me out of a sense of charity or a sense of duty. If you like me, have me around. If you don't, don't. That to me is the correct application of an egoistic ethic. That is the right thing to do. So what do you guys think? And by the way, happy holidays, happy Merry Christmas, happy New Year, happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, happy it for you. And I hope you have a great time doing whatever whatever you do. Danny thinks a heartfelt gift should always be accepted. Why, Danny? Why should it always be accepted? What if I oppose Christmas on principle? I just don't like it. I want to keep away from it. And somebody tries to impose a gift on me. Why am I obligated to accept it? I think that gift is voluntary, and the implication is that it's something given for free. That's what Mr. Deagle says. Daniel Suska says reciprocation isn't always necessary. I don't think it is either. I mean, I mentioned Seinfeld yesterday. I watched an episode of Seinfeld the other day where George was going to a party. He was invited to, and they told him, well, you have to bring something. You have to bring wine and you have to bring cake or something. And George says, wait a second. Why do I have to bring something? It's not enough that I just show up to the party to which I was invited. And I'm with George on this one. Like, if you invite me to a party, why am I obligated to bring cake or wine or some such thing? It just seems, now if you say that if you make it clear ahead of time, look, your invitation is contingent on you bringing these things, well, then okay, then it's my choice. Oh, look at this. 5 euros from the great Katrin Kohler, and wishes me a happy holidays. Thank you, Katrin. Thank you ever so much. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of social mores or these social obligations that are imposed or supposed to be imposed on us. I like manners. I like being polite. I like being kind. Don't get me wrong. But there's things like that I don't care about. For instance, if somebody comes in and they don't say hello to me, right? I don't really give a shit. I don't care. Now, if it was a good friend and it happened multiple times, I might say, hey, is there something wrong? Why? But if it's a one-off, I don't care. Like, I'm not like, hey, that guy didn't talk to me. I really don't care about it. When us guys from the neighborhood get together, for instance, I really don't care who, if they don't show up, they don't want to come. That's fine. Danny gets all wound up about it. When they don't show up or they don't get back to him, he's very upset. He's angry and whatnot. So Mr. Deagle says, it's like giving money to the bride and groom at the wedding. They expect you to come, and they also expect that you bring money. It can create a big problem for you. Yeah, no, I don't. I see there's a good one. Because I was thinking immediately of a birthday party, right? At a birthday party, I think that the assumption is that you're going to bring something. It's like implied in the contract when you're invited, but I don't see why that applies to all parties. Why that applies to, if somebody has me over. Yes, Danny, you're the one that gets upset. When the guys, they don't respond to your group chat. Like, look, we make an agreement. Danny and I, we're going to meet somewhere. We're going to have dinner, and one other guy agrees, and then Danny wants to invite the whole old neighborhood, and nobody responds, and then he's upset with them. You know, uh, I don't really care whether they go or not. If they don't want to be around me, yeah, that's fine. I don't need to be around them. I'm perfectly content just with Danny and a cup of coffee. That's cool with me. But yeah, so the social norms are an interesting thing for me. I can see, in some instances, in the case of a wedding, in the case of a birthday party, where it's incumbent upon me to bring something. But at a regular party, I don't know. I don't know why that would be the case. If you're hosting a party, then host the party. Don't expect the guests to bring everything. Mr. Deagle says, in my country, it's expected that the host pays for everything. You bring a small gift as a sign of goodwill. What country is that, Mr. Deagle? I'm just out of curiosity. Danny says that's not accurate. It's 100% accurate, actually. Now, Danny's going to retort that this is what happens when we go out and nobody else gets an invite. Oh, wow, Bosnia. They do. Some of the folks do say, oh, wait, I wasn't invited. They get upset. So then he says, oh, I'm going to invite them. But to me, them getting upset because they weren't invited, that's ridiculous, too. Like, you have no right to be invited when other people go out. If they want you there, they can invite you. If they don't, they don't. That's, I don't, if people exclude me. I don't care. And then I'll exclude you next time. It's all fine with me. But Danny doesn't like it. He gets upset. That's his, that's like his jam, I think, to get upset about stuff like that. And I tell him, well, who cares? What difference does it make if these guys respond? They don't respond. They want to come. They don't want to come. Danny says, I always bring a wine or dessert to a party just to be nice. Okay. But is it an obligation is my question. Is it a moral obligation for you to bring something to a party when you're invited? That's what I'm asking. I've been invited to a New Year's Day party, and I don't know if I'm expected to bring something. I doubt it. I don't think so. I think the host is having a big party and I'm invited, and that's it. I don't think I'm expected to bring anything. And by the way, I learned when I was young at a bar one time, I wanted to send the bar owner a drink, and I was told, well, you shouldn't do that. That's offensive to the bar owner. If you buy the bar owner a drink, it's offensive to him. Well, how do I know if it's not going to be offensive to somebody if I bring cake to their party? They'd say, wait a second. We invited the guests. This is our stuff. We'll pay for everything. Well, now I've got an issue there as well. The social mores to me are very interesting. When it comes to ethics, right and wrong, I find myself mostly able to reason through things. But when it comes to social expectations, and it's like, ugh, come on with this stuff. Like, like you don't wear a hat in the house. Why the hell not? Why can't I wear a hat in a house? What the hell difference does it make? If you want me to take my shoes off in the house, okay, I understand. You don't want me dragging things in from the outside. That's cool. Danny hates, he doesn't want people in his house with their shoes on. Where I live, we don't wear shoes in the house either, and that's fine with me. But a hat? Really? Like, what does that matter? I don't even know where that stems from. But people tend to think, or a lot of people anyways, that because they've always been taught something, that what they've always been taught is the binding thing to do. They don't take into consideration that they might be taught wrong, or that what they're claiming or what they're advocating is just arbitrary. Jenna Kleem says, ask the host if there's anything that you can bring. Well, there's something that you can do. Sure. Ask the host, is there something I can do? What can I bring? What can I do to help? Who's this? Somebody's calling me right now from Norwich, Connecticut, and I can't answer it because I'm doing this. Oh, Holden Mitrione is here. AI. I wish I could have Holden Mitrione is a young man who is a economics major at in college. He's very bright young man. He's very active on social media, and he reached out to me the other, a couple weeks ago and asked if he could interview me on, and I said sure. So he interviewed me on my show. That episode should be out next week. He read my book. He enjoyed it. Really smart young man. Really good young man. May I call? I hate my big stupid thumbs. All right. So I took care of that. So yeah, that's Holden Mitrione. See, Danny says never shoes on. Now, to me, that's Danny's house, right? On the flip side of what I'm talking about, if somebody says don't wear a hat in my house, it's their house. They can do whatever the hell they want. And if they don't want a hat in their house, they don't have to have it. If somebody makes a rule, no shirts in my house, I can take my shirt off or get the hell out. It's their property. They can do what they want. But what we're talking about here is what I'm interested in is the ethical. What is the ethical thing to do? And sometimes social mores may line up with ethics, but sometimes they're just arbitrary. Like the whole thing where you say, God bless you when somebody sneezes. I don't do that. I don't tell somebody God bless you when they sneeze, and I don't care if they tell me God bless you. One, I don't believe in God. Two, there's nothing special about sneezing. The whole thing likely stemmed from the ancient Druids thinking that the body leaves the soul when you sneeze, right? So now you say, God bless you when they sneeze. It's arbitrary superstition. I have no interest in engaging in this, but sometimes people tell me you're antisocial because I don't do it. Again, we can refer to the Seinfeld episode where George told the girl, God bless you, before her boyfriend did, and it caused the couple to break up because she's upset he didn't say God bless you. A little ridiculous. Mr. Deagle says social norms are arbitrary for the most part, but necessary. Some things are obvious, some more arbitrary, but you have to know how to act with other people, and some things are symbolic. I can buy that to an extent, but I will say this. I don't believe there's any such thing as an action that does not have ethical implications. The reason being, my life is my standard of value. My happiness is my purpose in behaving ethically. That being the case, there's nothing that I do that doesn't have some effect on me, on my well-being. So everything has ethical implications. So it may very well be in my interest to adopt a given social norm, or it may not be. If it's completely arbitrary and I say I'm going to do this, just go along to get along, well, I mean, okay, should I really be doing that? Should I be doing things just to go along or get along? To get along, or should I tell the truth as I see it and use my mind to come to my conclusions based on reason, as opposed to accepting the arbitrary whims of my ancestors or your ancestors, whatever the case may be. 99 cents coming from Big Danny Suska. This guy's huge, by the way. Danny is a very, very big guy. And, when he was a kid, he was the smaller guy. He was the younger guy, maybe got slapped around a little bit. And then he got big. He had a big growth spurt and then likes to throw it in everyone's face that now he can slap them around if he wants to. Mr. Deagle said, let's say that taking off your hat is a sign of respect to the host. It's arbitrary, but it's symbolic. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay. Let's examine that for a second. But first, Katie Ellis with the super sticker. $4.99. Katie, thank you so much. So let's say taking off your hat is a sign of respect to the host. Well, let's think about this for a second. I got to tell this guy at 5:00 I'm supposed to meet him. Now he wants to meet now. I can't do it. Okay. So what was I now going to say? I'm all mixed up with these people texting me, calling me, and everything else. Oh, why would a person take it as a sign of respect if I take my hat off? is that a reasonable thing to do on that person's part? And if it's not, why should I cater to it? And why should I befriend that person? For instance, now there might be other qualities he has. So I might ultimately say, you know what, this is a small thing. I'll take the hat off. He likes it, whatever. But I still know that this is irrational on his part. And so I'm going to question what else is irrational about this guy. Are there other things that I dislike, or maybe let me know. So, even in that situation, this sign of respect, I don't know. Now, let's say Danny invites me somewhere, my friend Danny, and Danny tells me, listen, the host wants you to take your hat off. I would do that out of respect for Danny, right? I'll do it for Danny because Danny's my friend and I don't want to cause Danny, any trouble. So, then I might do it. And there's many situations in life, but I have to recognize why I'm doing this and recognize that it's not actually me showing any respect or anything. What I'm doing is catering to somebody's irrationalities. Although in this case, I just mentioned I'm doing it for a friend. Let me just tell you, I am not a big fan of catering to the irrationality of other people. I'm just not. Like, I don't have much patience for it. Like, I don't have patience for bullshit either. Like, if I'm in a conversation with someone and they're feeding me bullshit, stop. I don't need bullshit in my life. Just tell me what the hell you want. Tell me what you're thinking. We don't need to play games. I'm not a game player either. Jenna Kleem says, why do you take your hat off when the honor guard walks by or the national anthem plays? Well, I don't do that. I don't generally wear a hat anyways, so there's that, right? I don't wear a hat, so I don't really have the issue. Now, if I was at a place and they required it, depending on what value I got from being at that place, I would do it. But there's nothing about me taking a hat off that shows any respect to anybody, really. It's a completely arbitrary, irrational custom. Now, the fact of the matter is, it doesn't hurt me to do it. So in a case like the one I mentioned where I'm with Danny and he asked me to do it because, it's a friend of his, or if I'm at a place where they require it, I'll do it. I'm not looking to cause trouble because it's a relatively easy thing. But again, I'm keeping in mind that this is an irrational custom, that this is completely arbitrary. There's no logical basis for it at all. None. So, that's my take on it. Are there any other questions pertaining to this? I'm interested in Mr. Deagle's idea of taking off the hat being symbolic. Symbolic of what? Exactly. I'm curious to know what the symbolism involved is there. Mr. Deagle. I wish I knew Mr. Deagle's real name. Like, I know Daniel Suska's real name. He has a few. He's gone by a few since we were kids. Let me take this off the screen. Hide. Boom. All right. Oh, let me think of something else that we could discuss here. Santa Claus. How about Santa Claus? What are your thoughts on Santa? Jolly old Saint Nick. Should we teach our kids about Santa? If you have children, now obviously Santa's fake. So do you tell your kids that there's no Santa? Samed. Oh, okay, Mr. Deagle. I like that. So think about this for just a second, right? Because I know somebody that the kid, when he found out that there was no Santa, was pissed. That his parents had lied to him his whole life. And I remember as a kid finding out there was no Santa, I was a little devastated myself. But at the same time, the only time in life that you can really believe in stuff like that is when you're a kid. And it's so much fun and so enjoyable. Why not allow kids to believe in that? I can go see either way in this situation, but if I had children, I personally think I would allow them to believe in Santa. I would enjoy bringing them to see Santa. I think it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I'm certainly not mad at my parents for allowing me to believe in Santa. But what do you think? Should parents be allowing their children to believe in Santa? I'll tell you what, and this may catch some hell, but I think it's far worse to allow children to believe in God, to teach children that there's a God, than to teach them that there's a Santa. Because the belief in Santa, once they're old enough to understand, they stop believing it. When it comes to God, many people believe that their whole lives. And not only that, but they become emotionally crippled with guilt based on the religious teachings they've imbibed as children. Even once they've broken free, they still have their religious attitudes, their religious ethics embedded in them. Even people who weren't raised that way just absorb that stuff from the culture in which they live. So my personal thing is, if you're raising children, much worse to indoctrinate them into a religion than to allow them to believe in Santa Claus. Daniel says that he likes the holiday spirit as an idea, but the whole Christmas struggle to appease people who want gifts is beyond me. It's fun at best. Mr. Deagle says some things are arbitrary customs, but they carry symbolic value. It's an abstract thing like respect put in a simple action. All right. I can understand it. Still, I'm not a fan of the arbitrary. I'm not a fan of arbitrary customs. I'm definitely not a fan of catering to other people's irrationality. I'm just not. Like I was irrational for a long period of my life. I was surrounded by irrational people. I know the damage that being irrational causes. You know what I mean? To individuals, to families, to communities, to countries, whatever. So I'm not a fan of patronizing that. I'm not a fan of acting like it's the norm, or that it's rather that it's the right thing to be or to do. I'm a reason guy, reason, just to bring it back to, the objectivist ethics, reason, purpose, self-esteem, rationality as the primary virtue. Seek to be rational. And I definitely don't think that training your kids to believe in a fictitious being is the rational thing to do. I just don't. Now, look, I'm not, trying to start a fight or trying to insult anybody. You're entitled to your beliefs, certainly, but I'm entitled to mine. You are perfectly entitled to disagree with me, to voice your disagreement, but I'm entitled to do the same. I don't like when there's a double standard where religious people can voice their religious sentiments, but it's not acceptable to speak against their beliefs. I'm not supposed to speak about my beliefs. Danny, you do not have to force me to take a gift. If you have a gift, I'll accept it. I don't have an issue there. Just don't expect one in return because I'm broke and you aren't. That's the way that I feel about that situation. So anyways, tomorrow, Christmas Eve, we'll be on the air tomorrow. We'll be on the air Friday. Just so you know, I've got some good episodes coming up on The Rational Egoist. I've got a discussion I had with Sheldon Richman about anarchism. Today, I interviewed the Libertarian candidate for governor of New York, Larry Sharp. That'll be out in a few days. Holden Mitrione, like I mentioned before, he interviewed me. I hope to have that out next week. Of course, my series with Jim Valiant using the book Objectivism, the Philosophy of Ayn Rand as a guide to self-improvement. We're going to be doing more stuff. So we've got a lot of stuff coming out that'll be there. I'll be Thursday, of course. I don't know about of course, but we're going to be off. I would personally do the show, but I don't imagine we'd have much of an audience. But Friday, we are back at it. We will be discussing these things. Eventually, I'm going to interview my friend Danny. I'll let everybody meet him. This guy's a real character, really nice guy, and he'll be on. So listen, time to wrap up. I just want to thank everybody so much just for being here, for engaging in the conversation. Thank you for the super chats and the super stickers. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I know I do. I always enjoy talking. Mr. Deagle, I've already done a show with Jim about creating Christ. There's an episode about it on the Rational Egoist page. You just have to go back a couple of years. So everybody, listen, thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Be ethical.